Okay, I want to retell true stories I heard here on YouTube. Okay, the first was told by Mr. Ballin, like Mr. Ballin's podcast or something like that, or Mr. I don't know, it's Mr. Ballin something. But anyway, there was this lady that well, she was living with her son in her house, and the son just disappeared. She thinks he just run off and left her, and she's pretty much heartbroken. So she pretty much lives by herself for 20 some years. She's pretty much a hoarder. She's like legally blind. But one morning she gets up and she trips in her kitchen and falls, and she heard this awful snap. She's in tremendous pain. And she said, "Oh God, I've broken my hip." And she, even though she's in tremendous pain, and anyway, she's able to crawl on her, get over on her good side, and and drag her way to her living room where her phone is at, and dials at 911. And a short time later, the paramedics show up there, and they take her to the hospital. And they treat her, and she's recovering and stuff. And they said, "Ma'am, we can't. You're obviously not going to be able to live in your home by yourself. We're going to have to, put you in the assisted living facility." And she said, "No, I'm not going to do that. I want to go back home." And they said, "No, ma'am, you can't do that." She said, "Well, look, I got a brother I haven't talked to for around 20 years, since my son disappeared." And they said, "Okay, call the brother." So the lady called her brother, and the brother goes, "Oh God, it's good to hear you. He's kind of wondering what he's doing." And the brother said, "Yeah, you can come live here. He's perfectly fine to live here." He said, "Look, I'll go get your keys for you, and I'll have your wife, go get some clothing and stuff from your house." And she, "Oh, sure, that's fine." And and the wife goes to the house, and she's pretty much horrified. This lady had been living by herself, is all kind of spoiling food, half-eaten food that she had. Just left that. It's kind of rotting. It's awful. And she said, well, she goes upstairs. She's looking for Lay's room so she can get some of her clothes. She opened the first door she finds, and she screams in horror, slams the door real quick, runs outside, and calls the police. It turns out her son had never left. He had died of some natural causes. His skeletonized remains were still on the bed where he had died there some 20 years earlier. But I'm laughing, but it's serious. But anyway, look at the second story. This is a really, really horrible story. But anyway, this was told by Haley Reese. That's the name of her YouTube channel. Now, there's this little girl, maybe a couple years old. She encountered this really creepy neighbor. Let's call him Mr. Smith, for lack of a better. Mr. Smith, you can call him Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones. It don't matter. But one day she's kind of avoids him. But one day, Mr. Jones, that's Mr. Smith, says, "Come over here, little girlie. I got a present for you." The little girl goes, "Okay, what is it?" It's this little doll. You'll really love this little doll. So she says, "Oh yeah." She takes this little doll, plays with it for, till she gets maybe for a year or so. She cuddles with it in bed, and one day she's playing with it up on the stairs, and it drops all the way down the stairs, and it's broken. So the little girl, mom, and mommy goes, "Well, we'll take it and have it repaired." And little goes, "Okay," but the little girl never sees the doll ever again. And she grows up. She gets maybe about 10, 12 years old, and she's going through the attic, some old pictures, and she finds her playing with the dolly, and she goes to her mother and says, "Hey, this." I vaguely remember this little dolly from when I was a kid. It was given to me by this creepy old neighbor. And mommy looks at her and she said, "Hon, I think you're old enough. I can tell the true story of what happened to the doll. It had broken part of the face. We took it to someplace that repairs dolls, and the guy when the guy had opened up the doll, he was horrified to find what he did. But apparently, the neighbor, Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, whatever his name was, had actually murdered his little child, and had had encased the body. I guess he'd mummified it or something, and encased the body in plastic and made it into the dolly. And I guess they'd called the police and had this guy arrested if he was still alive. But I'm certainly hoping that's not true. I'm hoping certainly that's just something made up to be creepy on here on the internet. But anyway, I'm laughing, but I don't mean it. It's not funny at all. But anyway, that's two creepy stories told here on YouTube. Okay, bye. Love y'all.